Finally, now for our Reaper video, we can look at actually beginning to work on music. So our first project is going to be a very small, easy to do project. That way you guys can start working the program without getting overwhelmed. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over to the internet, and I decided to grab a Charlie Patton, a Spoonful Blues, and I'll leave a link to that. You're going to want to download the MP3 version. You can download other versions, but that is the easiest one for us to work with, and that's the one I'll be working with as well. And the cool thing about this song is it's so old, it is now in public domain, meaning that you can download the song legally. No laws are broken. And on top of that, this is a song that can benefit from us messing with it because it's such an old recording. There's pretty poor quality, and we can do a few things to help kind of improve that quality. So go ahead and download that. After we do that, we can grab the file, and it's as simple as dragging it into Reaper and then just dropping it in. You'll notice there is a wave form right here, and this follows the structure of our song. You can see that the lower areas closer towards the middle line are quieter parts of the song, and then the really high parts are going to be louder points of the song. And nothing is considering frequency just yet. We're not there yet. It's just loud and quiet. It doesn't matter if it's a high sound or a low sound. You're going to notice that when you drop the track into Reaper, it's going to create a new track off to the side, or depending on where you put your mixer, if it's at the bottom or wherever. I like to keep mine like this, where it's off to the side. And actually, technically speaking, I prefer a two-window type of view where I literally have two windows, and I'm able to look at my tracks on a separate location from the actual waves, so that way I can monitor both things without having to compromise space. So next, after we've dropped that in, we're going to go ahead and take a quick little listen to the song. So after listening to the track for a little bit, we can hear there's a lot of fuzz. Should probably get rid of that. There's not very much low end to the sound whatsoever. We can fix that, and we can also probably bring out a couple little spots and get rid of a couple little spots where the sound is kind of problematic or we want more of it. So in order to do that, we're going to be using an equalizer. And so I'm going to go and I click on this button to go ahead and bring up my effects. You can also do this in a separate way of going to track and adding your effects that way. But for my layout, this is very easy to press. So at this point, you'll probably see something more like this. All plugins, it's this huge thing. We only really need to worry about the VST row of things. The JS are things that are Reaper. They come with Reaper. They're already built into it, so you can use those. And those will be, once again, equalizers and things like that. But for me, I like the current VSTs that I use. So we're going to go, I put mine over in favorites, and here's the M equalizer that I had you guys download. So I'm going to double click on it. And here we go. At this time, if I play the song will actually run through the equalizer, but currently there's no changes. So let's go ahead and play it. There's no changes, and so everything sounds the same. If I click on Analyzer, I'll be able to actually see what's happening in the song. If so I can see on the screen what's happening in the song within the whole bandwidth of the sound, which will allow me to monitor and look at where I'm seeing frequencies happen. Obviously, things off to the deeper side, the 20 hertz section of the equalizer are going to be the deeper sounds. And if I go off to the right, more towards 20K, those are going to be significantly higher pitch sounds. So in order to begin equalizing this song, we're first going to make a really notch, we call this a notch filter, where it's a really high Q is what they call it. Basically, it's just the intensity and like the precision of your equalizing. So we're going to make this really high, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through the song and we're going to listen for issues, and the main thing I'm going to be listening for is that fuzzy sound, and I'm going to be trying to eliminate that as best I can. So at this point, I've identified where the fuzziness is. I do that by moving the cue around, and I listen for areas where, while I'm above, I can hear the fuzziness increase, and then while I'm below, hear the fuzziness decrease. Sometimes it's easier to isolate things when you actually increase the problematic sound, and you're like, oh, that's where it is, and then you get rid of it. Another time to be able to just find it by moving it around underneath. So in this case, I found it at this location. It's around 6,000 hertz, and that's where most of the fuzziness sounding is. But now at this point, the vocals have kind of been affected a little bit, wouldn't you say? So you can hear the top end of the vocals kind of get affected. So we want to help fix that issue. So I'm going to double click on this 5 right here, and I'm going to bring it up, and you can see that it's going to kind of counterbalance a little bit of the sound when I do this. So now I've gotten the vocals where I want. Maybe I should take a look around and see if there's other sounds maybe in this recording that I would like to stand out a little more. So at this point, I like what I've done to the song. There's not a huge amount of difference between the sound before and after, which is not necessarily a terrible thing. Equalizers, it's pretty easy to overdo it and make it just awful. So little changes are better than huge changes. So let's go ahead and listen to kind of like the before and after. I'll click the activation on and off, which is this button right here. And you can hear the difference between with the equalizer on and with the equalizer off. The very last step to this, we can actually close this, is to actually render the project. And so rendering means that you're actually going to turn it into an MP3 file, because while the project can be saved while in Reaper, these projects are in a RPP file format, which means that they're actually saving the project in Reaper. They're not saving a song. So in order to save a song, there's a separate location that we need to go to. So I'm going to go down here, and there is a render button. I need to stop recording before I do that. So I'm going to come back in a minute and talk to you after the rendering is done. So at this point, my song has been saved, and it will be saved to the directory where I saved it. So mine, I clicked on my extra storage where I keep my Reaper files, and there we go. Actually, that's not the right one, is it? Reaper projects. Here we go. Project Spoonful Blues. So now the new version of the song has been saved in both the Reaper format as well as the MP3 format. And now I can play this in my iTunes, I can play it in my car, I can play it anywhere I want, and it will sound the way that I've worked to make the changes with the equalizer. Hope you guys learned something from this. See you guys next time.